Hey, wellness and Wahala warriors. It's your girl, Dr. Tommy, better known as Ama Abba. So, welcome to the Wellness and Wahala podcast. A wellness Wahala warrior is a winner, is a world changer, is wise and winsome. They are dedicated to tackling Wahala, which means issues, problems in Nigerian Pidgin for the good of humanity. Our tribe of subject matter experts in our village are a voice to the voiceless. Oh yeah, join me, the former diplomat and public health advisor, Dr. Tomi Ademaku, better known as Oma Abba, as I give you the best public health and wellness of Wahala gist with wonderful people, subject matter experts using their compassion to take action to put us on the pathway of a Wahala-free life. All views and statements are my own and my guests. Love you and bless up. Everyone, it's your girl, Dr. Tommy, better known as Ama Abba, and welcome to a new episode of Wellness and Wahala podcast. For those of you tuning in for the first time, Wahala in Nigerian Pidgin English means issues and problems. So we go explore topics on various Wahala issues and wellness topics. And today's title of this new episode is Roots Revisited, Exploring African History as Black History. As you all know, in America, February this month is Black History Month. So I'm dropping this episode to explore African history as Black history. And so welcome to Roots Revisited, which is the topic today, where we delve into the rich tapestry of African history, recognizing it as a cornerstone of Black history worldwide. Join us on the journey across the 54 diverse African nations, or 54. There's no United States of Africa like America, just one nation. No, it is 54 countries, diverse countries in Africa. And even within a nation, like Nigeria, for example, has 36 states, over 200 languages and tribes. So very, very diverse. And we're going to uncover fascinating stories of triumph, challenges that have shaped the continent and our people, because we are one. As they say, Black people, African American people, those in the diaspora, Africans, we are one Africa. So first, I want to talk about Africa's diversity. Number one, we have 54 nations, 54. You understand? Africa boasts unparalleled cultural, linguistic, and ethnic diversity. We have multiple languages, many countries that were colonized by the French, by the British, by the Portuguese, by Spanish. So you'll hear us also speaking, the colonizers' language of English, of French, of Portuguese, of Spanish, but they have their own native languages, So my family, for example, in Nigeria, my dad is from the Yoruba tribe. My mom is from the Edo Bini tribe, and her mom is actually Yoruba. Then we also have Igbo in our family. That's from the eastern part, southeast of Nigeria. Yoruba is mostly southwest. Bini, Edo is usually what we call the Niger Delta, south. So there is a lot of diversity, and I love exploring our beautiful culture. You learn a lot when you travel and you actually meet people and you learn the true history, because the history that we're taught here is not the true one. Who is writing those history books? Who is telling the story? Who is telling those narratives, those fake narratives? So we really need to dive in to our true history. Explore the various languages, traditions, and customs that make each of our African nations unique, celebrating the continent's rich history. Let me drop some statistics and fun facts for y'all. Africa is home to over 2,000 languages. You did hear me, yo. Over 2,000 languages, representing 1/3 of the world's linguistic diversity. So just to tell you how diverse we are, 2,000. Okay, so we just are a people that are just extremely brilliant and extremely talented, good to speak so many languages. Upon that, speaking the languages of the colonizers. They also have broken English or pidgin. That's one of the languages that I speak and understand. That's where you get Wahala from, which means issues and problems. How you day? That's like saying, how are you? What's up? You say, waiting day happen. I day campe. I'm good. So that is pidgin English. So they have their own form of broken English, or like in the Caribbean, when they descended from Africa, they came up with patois, for example, in Jamaica, which is very similar to our Nigerian pidgin. So just the connections and the diversity, even of our languages, over 2,000 languages, is just amazing. Next, I want to talk to you about ancient civilization. Africa is the cradle of civilization. If you look in the Bible times, you see the Queen of Ethiopia, even Jesus, the oldest book in the world, Bibeli Mimo, the Bible, when King Herod wanted to kill him, and, the angel came to tell Joseph and Mary to flee with baby Jesus, the Savior, Yeshua, he fled to Egypt, Africa. Egypt is North Middle East, okay? The fake narratives, the fake stories that media tells you that, Morocco, Libya, because they're lighter skin, and, Ethiopia, East Africa, those are Middle East. No, they are Africa. They are Africans, okay? So when the Savior needed to be hidden, where'd he go? Africa, okay? So Africa is a strategic part of civilization. Ancient civilization started in Africa with ancient empires, rich empires such as Egypt and Ghana and Mali, which had the richest king, laying the groundwork for human progress. We delve into the achievements of these civilizations, from monumental architecture like the pyramids in Egypt to advancements in science, mathematics, and medicine that all came from Africa. Let me drop you out another statistic. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built over 4,500 years ago, remains one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. You can't build that type of pyramid without knowing architecture, science, mathematics. Do you understand? It put statistics, putting it together, that quality for it to last over 4,500 years. That's why it's the 7th one. That's what God really blessed Africa. We're the most blessed continent of the world. We're the richest continent with natural resources, from gold to diamonds to uranium. That's why people came to colonize us and tried to steal from us an extra. And they're still doing it today, modern day slavery. So we really need to know where we came from. Okay, our past, our history, learn it, travel. And so we can know where we are today, and we can build a better future. If you don't know where you came from, how you go build a better future? How you go represent the kings and queens? We are royalty that we are descendants from. The next one, number 3, y'all, that we're going to dig into is colonial legacy. Okay? The colonial era left an indelible mark on Africa, shaping its modern political and social landscape. And even the political leaders now, they are controlled by the West and colonial masters. And that's why a lot of our countries back at home are still in extreme poverty, despite us being the richest continent and having great natural resources and human resources. We examine the impact of colonialism on African societies, including the patronizing of the continent, exploitation of our natural resources, illegal, extraction of our resources, and the legacy of oppression and modern day slavery that continues to exist today. Let me drop you out another statistic. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 divided Africa among the European powers, leading to the artificial borders that continue to influence the geopolitics today. So, all these borders and they renamed our nations. It was not like that. Before, they were kingdoms, the Niger kingdom, the Benin kingdom, the Mali kingdom, and some kingdoms, the Egyptian kingdom, Ethiopian kingdom, and some of those kingdoms included various nations that were divided, now, due to the borders and due to the European powers, and for them saying, okay, out of these 54, nations or kingdoms, out of this kingdom, like the Western Kingdom, let's say West Africa, British, French, you guys are going to take these countries. Southern Africa, Portuguese, some British, some area, Spanish, explore. It was just a mess, y'all. I don't know how evil people can be. When I learn about this history, when I think people can't get any worse, they always show themselves. There's a lot of Wahala that our ancestors experienced that I'm just grateful to God that I didn't live in those historic times, because things might be not perfect now, but we are very blessed compared to what our ancestors went through. That gets me to my next point of struggle for independence. Throughout the 20th century, African nations embarked on a quest for independence, inspired by leaders such as Kwame Nkrumah, that's from Ghana, Nelson Mandela from South Africa, and Patrice Lumumba, okay? And so many great leaders, even from Nigeria and from Egypt, and the Queen of Ethiopia, as I said, was rich, and that was in the Bible. Pharaoh, the king in Egypt. We spotlight key moments in the struggle of self-determination and the resilience of African people in the face of adversity. Another statistic, between 1957 and 1960, over 30 African nations gained independence from colonial rule, you guys. So I know, for example, Nigeria, in October 1st, 1960, that's when we gained our independence from the British. So y'all, there was a revolution, there was revival. Our people did wake up, and even some of those leaders today, they're being, still colonized and being controlled by the West. So we still have a long way to go, even though we're independent nations. But I just find it amazing that from 1957 to 1960, those 3 years, 30 African nations rose up and said, enough is enough, that we want to be independent. So there is power in unity for all of us to come together and fight on behalf of our people and our nation for our right, for our land, that, this is where we come from. The African American community, we don't see that as separate. The way African history is taught in Africa or in the Caribbean is very different from how they teach it here in America. Black history, blacks are separate from Africans. No, we are one. It's because our brothers and sisters were stolen from us through slavery, inhumanely stolen, killed, raped, forced into labor, farming and everything to build the wealth of their colonizers, and their slave masters. And then you now separate them. They forget their traditions and culture. But even if you look at some of the traditions here that a lot of the African Americans, for example, still do today, you can see a lot of it originated from Africa. We are one. And they are trying to divide us because that's how they continue their oppression, by divide and conquer. We should not let that happen. And that gets into my next topic of post-colonial challenges. Independence brought newfound freedom for African nations, but also ushered in a new set of challenges, including political instability, economic inequality, and conflict. We analyze the complexities of post-colonial Africa and the ongoing efforts to achieve peace, prosperity, and unity. Another statistic is Africa is home to 13% of the world's population, but accounts for only 27% of the world's refugees and internally displaced person. So I can speak on Nigeria, for example. There's been terrorism. Boko Haram terrorists has been terrorizing people for about 10 years in the northeastern part of Nigeria. 2 million, 3 million people have been displaced over 10 years. Even most recently on Christmas Day, 160 people were killed. I believe the number is double when I talked to members from Jos Plateau State in Nigeria. On Christmas Day, they were slaughtered. They were killed. About 300 were additionally injured. But the numbers, they're saying that because a lot of people are still missing, that the number might be as high as 500 killed and injured. And nothing has been done. Major media media outlets have not did anything, and this has been going on for a very long time for people to be internally displaced in a very rich country of natural resources. And that community in Jos, they said, is rich in natural resources like cocoa and I believe gold and other things. So they were trying to get rid of those people, those settlers that are natives of that land. They didn't want to give up their land, so they destroyed them, they killed them, and a lot of this is politically motivated, and also from external colonizers that's in the West that are also trying to put pressure so they can extract and steal those resources. It is very, very bad. So we are rich. Even the land that we have, agriculture, we can grow anything. Our soil is very rich, and 65% also of our land is uncultivated. We have so much prospect for food security and nutrition in Africa. We should not have poverty. People should not be dying of hunger. But that's where we are. So, as I said, Africa is home to 13% of the world's population. But how are we accounting for 27%, over a quarter of the world's refugees and internally displaced persons? Not big problem. So we have a long way to go, and I just really pray that we all join hands together, because I believe if we in the diaspora, us African Americans, us across the diaspora, not just in America and Canada and across the world, we join hands, as subject matter experts that we are in various fields and various sectors, let it be health, agriculture, and food security. We join hands to help rebuild Africa. Africa can be way better as far as infrastructure and so forth, better than Dubai, better than America, because we have the resources, everything they did. Uranium, diamonds, copper, we have it, gold, silver, we have it, very rich. So let me tell you some quotes from some prominent Nigerian leaders and celebrities and influencers that are very close to my heart, that's aligned with this topic today about Roots Revisiting and exploring African history as Black history. One of my favorite quotes first comes from Chinwe Achebe, Nigerian novelist, poet, and professor. Our past is not our potential. In any hour, one can choose to liberate the future. Once again, our past is not our potential. In any hour, one can choose to liberate the future. So we are not limited by our past. We can choose now to make a better future for our people and liberate it for our children, for our children's children. So that is from Chinwe Achebe. The next one is, Africa has a past to mourn, a present to live, and a future to build. That is from Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Nigerian nationalist and statesman. Okay? So once again, Africa has a past to mourn. It is sad what we went through, our people went through in the past, but we have a present to live and to really reshape the narrative and build a better future for, once again, our children, our children's children, and for us. The power starts with us. Change starts with us. The next quote that I love is, I am because we are. And since we are, therefore I am. That is from John Mbiti. He is a Kenyan-born Christian religious philosopher and writing. I am because we are. And since we are, therefore I am. We are one. So I just have this call to action to Africans here, and Africans, what I mean, 54, the African nations. So Nigerian Americans, Ghanaian Americans here, within the community that I serve, we need to do what we can to embrace most of our African American brothers and sisters. Like my sister, she's part of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. She's taken a lot of her sorority sisters back to Africa, Nigeria, specifically Ghana and Morocco. They visited. It is very important that we partner and embrace our brothers and sisters, our African Americans in the diaspora, to bring them back home. A lot of our African American friends, some of them have moved back to Ghana and Nigeria. They've bought in property. They've opened up restaurants and businesses. So it's very important that we come together as one, because I am, because we are, since we are, therefore I am, and we are one. So I love that quote. by John Mbuti, once again, is a Kenyan-born Christian religious philosopher and writer. The next one of my favorites, is Wole Soyinka. He's a Nigerian playwright and poet and Nobel laureate in literature. So he won the Nobel Prize for literature. And one of my favorite quotes from Wole Soyinka says, "The Africa I love is a continent that has experienced a history of upheaval and has undergone phenomenal changes. But we must never forget that it is still the cradle of mankind." Y'all, I'm telling you, it's the cradle of mankind. The oldest book in the world, the Bible, has it as a continent of refuge. When Jesus was fleeing with his parents because he was about to get killed, they went to Egypt, Africa. And Egypt was a generic name for Africa then. But I think that, we need to remember that Africa is the most blessed continent, the richest continent. And the Africa we love is a continent that has experienced a history of upheaval, many wahalas, and has undergone phenomenal changes. But we must never forget that it's still the cradle of mankind. And change starts with us once again. My next one and my last quote from one of my favorite writers is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and her quote says, "Our diversity is our strength as Africans, and it's time we embrace it to build a brighter future for all." Once again, that's from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, a Nigerian writer and author of one of her favorite books is Half of Yellow Sun and Americana. In conclusion, as we reflect on African history as Black history, we are reminded of the resilience, creativity, and our strength of the African people. By honoring our past and embracing our diversity, we pave the way for a brighter future for all Africans, both in the continent and in the diaspora. Join us next time on the Wellness Wahala podcast, and thank you for tuning in to this topic of Roots Revisited, talking about the stories of Africa's past, our present, and our future. Wishing you no wahala, much love, and blessings this week. Bless up.
Yes, sir. TT low key, night job husband. Hey, you see this African dance? It's all about the waist. We gon' rock tonight, like we ain't got no worries. And baby, pull it down, do me judge. Slow it down, cause it's like my judge. No worries for tomorrow. Let's enjoy the night though. Bring out your finest clothes though, and leave the stress at home. It's party time with my besties. Got the south dripping heavy. Pulled up in the Benzie. Yeah. Popping bottles of that Henny. It's no pretending. All the sweet boys wanna lock us down. The pillars food so hot. Money large, can't count the way I'm moving my body like I ain't seen nobody. Get kind of shout. Let us dance till the sun comes out. Oh yeah, you see this African dance? It's all about the waist. We gon' rock tonight, like we ain't got no worries. Baby, pull it down, do me judge. Slow it down, cause it's like my judge. African dance, African way, African dance, African way. I did one, you catch a vibe every time it moves. And I see how the way you stay on my body, you make a girl wanna break down low. Keep it low key, but every Anytime you around, you make a girl wanna lose control. I'm on the waistline, we only got one life tonight. Let's celebrate time. Oh yeah, take it down low, low, low. Spray this money on the floor, floor, floor. Watching my body wine. Sweet baby, you so fine, fine, fine. You see this African dance? It's all about the waist. We gon' rock tonight, like we ain't got no worries. Baby, pull it down, do me judge. Slow it down, cause it's like not judge. My car, thanks. African dance.